Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Daily drug shortages leave angry and frustrated patients at risk, pharmacy boss warns. Daily drug shortages are placing frustrated patients at risk, health bosses warn. They are increasingly leaving pharmacies empty-handed when medicine is unavailable and alternatives cannot be given. The crisis has seen tempers flare as the sick are forced to go back to their doctor for a new prescription. Nick Kay, chairman of the National Pharmacy Association, NPA, said, "It is madness to send someone back to their GP, and it risks a patient either delaying taking vital medication or foregoing it altogether, which poses a clear risk to patient safety." Pharmacies are at the sharp end of medicine shortages and frequently have to turn away distressed, frustrated, and sometimes angry patients. As the struggle to book routine GP appointments intensifies, pharmacies have been handed greater responsibility to treat the poorly on the high street. But the NPA, which represents 6,000 independent community businesses, said the government must urgently grant much greater flexibility, allowing them to substitute medication when it is safe to do so. It says pharmacies are unable to dispense prescriptions at least once a day. Patients must currently go back to their GP for a new prescription if the item or dose they have been prescribed is out of stock. The only exception is in limited circumstances when a serious shortage protocol has been issued by the NHS. In January, Lancashire coroner Christopher Long wrote to Health Secretary, "We streeting after the death of 2-year-old Ava Hodgkinson." He told how she died of overwhelming sepsis from a strep, an infection after delays in receiving antibiotics, due to restrictions preventing a pharmacist from amending an out-of-stock prescription. Mr. Long wrote, "Ava had seen her GP, who had prescribed amoxicillin with a dose of 250 mg/5 ml. The pharmacy did not have this strength in stock, but did have amoxicillin 125 mg/5 ml in stock. They could not issue this as restrictions currently in place prevent a pharmacist issuing any different strength of medication without an amended prescription, even where the medication can be provided to enable the same dose to be administered. Here, Ava's parents could have been instructed to provide 10 ml, enabling the same dose of antibiotics to be provided. This led to a delay in Ava receiving antibiotics. 2 years ago, the Express reported how a surge in respiratory infections saw manufacturers struggle to keep up with demand, sparking shortages in antibiotics like amoxicillin, a first-line treatment for bacterial infections. As rampant winter illnesses caused havoc, supermarket shelves were also cleared of common drugs like paracetamol, ibuprofen, and seasonal medicines like powdered cough and cold remedies, as patients battled to treat symptoms of COVID, flu, strep A, and RSV. It prompted one unnamed patient to claim, "I've started buying prescription drugs illegally on the dark web using Bitcoin because it's easier than getting an appointment with my GP. I know this isn't particularly funny or entertaining, but it is true." An NPA poll of 500 pharmacies found all were unable to dispense a prescription at least once a day due to supply issues. Almost all also reported patients coming in at least once a day in the hope of finding medicines they had failed to obtain elsewhere. Worryingly, some 96% of pharmacies said they were unable to dispense a prescription at least once a day, despite having a safe alternative formulation in stock. The NPA said the rules must change, and quickly, adding it believes any changes being currently considered by the government are too limited in scope. Mr. Kay said, "These are deeply concerning statistics which show patients are potentially having to forego vital medication due to shortages. It is particularly frustrating for pharmacists to be unable to meet a clear need when they have a perfectly safe and effective solution in their pharmacy already. The government must look again at allowing pharmacists, who are highly trained healthcare practitioners, to use their professional judgment to supply an appropriate alternative when the prescribed version is unavailable." Latest figures show that in 2022-23, there were 1.18 billion prescription items dispensed on the NHS in England at a cost of £10.4 billion. The number of items increased by 3% on the previous year, while costs increased by 8%. The most dispensed item was the cholesterol-busting drug atorvastatin, issued 59 million times. The Department of Health and Social Care said, "Community pharmacies have a vital role to play as we shift focus of healthcare out of hospitals and into the community as part of our plan for change. We will work with the sector, making better use of the skills of pharmacists and pharmacy technicians to build a service fit for the future." The government is currently considering enabling pharmacists to substitute to a different dose or formulation, under specified circumstances, where such a substitution might be both urgent and safe. We use your sign-up to provide content in ways you've consented to and to improve our understanding of you. This may include adverts from us and third parties based on our understanding. You can unsubscribe at any time. Read our privacy policy. Medicines shortages are a daily concern for thousands of pharmacists like me and a daily worry for huge numbers of patients. At the very least, it is tremendously disruptive to go to a pharmacy only to be told part or all of your prescription is out of stock. For those who are infirm, it adds a burden to life, and for those who have to travel round pharmacies to get the medicines they need or go back to a doctor for a change of prescription, it can be extremely worrying and deeply frustrating. Worse, medicine shortages can affect people whose health and well-being depend on getting their medication. And although it's always important to make sure you have a supply of medicines and not leave a repeat prescription to the last minute, shortages can present a very real risk to people suffering from a range of conditions. As a pharmacist, I know all too well the frustration of spending hours trying to source supply, and I know that problem can be widespread. Of course, it's important to acknowledge that the causes of supply issues can be extremely complex. Manufacturing issues, essential quality checks, global supply chains, international markets, global demand for high-profile medication and prices here and abroad all can be factors. Pharmacists have huge expertise in medicines, so there is scope to look at the regulations to make it easier to safely substitute equivalent medication pills with differing dose combinations, for example, while maintaining safety, which naturally is everyone's top priority. Nick Kay is a third-generation pharmacist in Cornwall and chair of the National Pharmacy Association.